Then when it seemed things couldn't get any worse, we got the plague. The living death, quickly closing its fist over the entire planet. And then we heard the rumors that the last scientists were working on a cure that would end the plague and restore the world. Restore it? Why? I like the death. I like the misery. I like this world!
Hello and welcome to Too Old for This Shite. If it's your first time here, you must fight. And if you don't know the rules, well, I'm sure someone will tell you. They'll be kind enough to walk you through everything that's going on. I'm Wayne, and that's Laura.
No.
This week we're going to be talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme's, I don't know what way to describe the movie.
Masterpiece.
Yes, masterpiece from 1989, Cyborg. Fucking Orson Welles as Citizen Kane. Ain't got shit on this. So I suppose a little bit of a background on it. It was made on the back of Bloodsport, but not because Bloodsport was made. The director is Albert Pun, Pin, P-Y-U-N, Pun.
I don't know. Don't look at me.
I'm sorry for
can't
destroying
pronounce
your
it.
name, Albert. I no doubt you're listening. But originally it was going to be a black and white rock opera that there was talk of.
Fucking excuse me?
Yeah, you don't know any
What?
of the background of this, yeah. That was also going to star Chuck Norris, but it was suggested maybe.
A rock opera.
Yeah, that's why if you're watching, the bad guy's name is Fender. There's people in it called.
I did actually mention to you already.
Roland.
Yes, there's a lot of guitar type names.
Gibson is Jean-Claude Van Damme's main character. Let's see. Yeah, Gibson Rickenbacker. And yeah, so they were all.
They went all out with the inventiveness.
That's
all
why
right,
they
didn't
were all named.
They had like Roland Pick and stuff, hadn't
Yeah,
they? Yeah.
they were all named after guitar things and musical things.
Right, I thought that was such a bizarre choice. I couldn't figure. I was like, okay, in the future, obviously, they just went around like looking at objects and somebody just named them after them.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's sorry, the dog is coming in now with a fucking flower toy, so you probably hear that. Oh no, there's no squeak in that.
Just a lot of scrunch.
Yeah, it's just very professional operation here. But yeah, so that's what it was originally going to be. It's made by Canon. Anyone that are unaware, there's a great documentary called I can't remember what it's all about Canon films in the 80s, and I think maybe a bit into the 70s, and the madness that surrounded the making of most of their films. It was Menheim Golan and something Globus were
Golden Globus,
the two guys that owned Canon and run it, and they just, I don't know, it was really weird because they were really big at the start of the 80s, mainly thanks to, I suppose, the growth of video or straight-to-video releases. So they had a lot of things like Delta Force, Missing in Action, American Ninja, and all that kind
all
of
the Chuck Norris
shite. So it was stuff that it was quite, it was nearly like a fucking Roger Corman kind of thing, because there was a whole thing with them where they design a poster a lot of the time before.
Yeah, they're like, well, looks cool in the poster, right?
Yeah.
Let's go make the film of that, please.
They ended up buying the rights to Superman, and that's kind of what finished them off, or was partially responsible to, because Superman 4 came out, and they were like, they were, I suppose, putting it mildly, they were heavily involved with like most of the films. They turn around and say, no, do this script or do that and have this happen in it, and like they were wrong. So they destroyed the Superman franchise, and they lost a load of money with that. They bidded for the rights for He-Man again, because they did the original movie to do the sequel, and for Spider-Man they had the rights for it, and Toby Hooper was originally attached to direct Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, that could have been very
could
different.
have been totally
very
different fucking
different,
thing, yeah. but they didn't have the money for the rights. So when the time came around for them to pay for the rights, they were like, we don't have it.
Whoopsie.
So they were like, fuck you. But they're after spending money already on sets and costumes, around 2 million or something like that.
What?
So that's how
They sound about as financially responsible as us.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, let's buy some
I
fun
bet you
stuff.
they
and then
probably
they're
don't
like,
have a terrible
can't pay our
Warhammer
bills.
habit though, or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how this came around, because they were like, we need to try and make money back from this. So they got your man Albert Pun they said, like, can you come up with a story around it? And he was like, he wrote the script, or the idea for the script, when he was on a plane over to see him.
Fair
And
enough.
like the whole film we shot and I think edited in nearly a month. There was load of shit happened along the way with it. Like there was John. Should I get into the whole making of it
I
now?
know what I was just going to say. Why don't you tell us what the film is about? Because far all you've said is like it's Cyborg.
But yeah, look, that's the genesis
bit of the background
of
yes.
Cyborg. It was going to be a different movie.
You can tell us all about the background once we know how wonderful the film is.
The plot of the movie, or the background of the movie, is it's set in a post-apocalyptic future that somehow resembles a little bit of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and Spider-Man. Although when you look at the thing, you go, what were they going to do with Spider-Man, with these sets, or with He-Man?
Yeah.
Because it's very much post-apocalyptic.
It is, yes.
Stuff. It's very.
I think they just
grimdark.
went to they obviously just went to like some shitty part of the town, or like some abandoned part of like the suburbs or something, because it's just like derelict buildings.
What a lot of
that's
it
pretty
reminds
much
me
it.
of is like people who were into Warhammer, Necromunda. There's a lot of
Everything just reminds you of Warhammer.
but this, like, it does, like, out and out. Or shit, I had it in my head.
Necromunda,
No.
Grimdark.
It don't matter. But yeah, it's just like Laura was saying. It's
very Mad Maxy.
spit out the bone.
Oh, right, okay.
Metallica's music video.
Yes, it is a bit like that, I suppose.
It is a lot like that.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically, post-apocalyptic future. Jean-Claude Van Damme plays. It's a slinger, they're called, which don't really know what they do, but they seem to help people, or they act as guides. He, as it turns out, his family were killed by this pirate gang run by this guy called Fender, who was played by Vincent Klin, who you'll recognize him from stuff in the 80s.
He's got that recognisable bad guy head.
He was one of the surf Nazis in Point Break and stuff. He was originally a surfer. That's how he got the role, because of his parts. And apparently, this is what was cracking me up about. In the film, he's very unusual looking, because he's got like weird contact lenses in, and he's a big fucker, and that's why he was hired, because like his physique is impressive.
Yes,
when he
he's
takes his
very
top off at the end, you
intimidating,
kind of go, fucking hell. Like, I mean, nowadays every second fucker is like,
Gym bro.
bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Back then it wasn't that common. That's why like Arnie and all these guys was so impressive. But like, I mean, this guy, he's like fucking, he looks like he's got 0% body fat, but he's really big.
Yeah,
It's,
just rippling muscles everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, but he's apparently very soft-spoken in real life. So at the test screening, when he was saying all the stuff, the audience were pissing themselves laughing at everything
That's
he
very
said,
mean.
because it was, like there's a lot of stuff like where he's like, cut their heads off, little girl, I'm going, it was all,
I suppose, yeah,
he's like
brutal
Skeletor.
stuff. Yes, I suppose, yes.
So if you got someone talking like that, so people thought that it was a fucking comedy in the test screen, and that's why it got completely and utterly reshot. And Van Damme apparently put his own money into editing it, because he saw it and he was like, this is a piece of shit. And he was after doing Bloodsport, and he was becoming a star. So I think he was like,
please don't
this will
derail
fucking
my
destroy my
career.
career.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's very good. So Fender anyway is after I'm losing track of the plot. There's a cyborg that's sent off at the start, but that's got like, it's a plague is after causing the apocalypse. They're after fucking why they turned someone into a cyborg to get the information for the cure for the plague. She's sent off from New York, and when she's doing a Fender and his group kidnapped the cyborg, Van Damme gets caught up in it and he starts following because it turns out Fender is the one that killed his family and he wants to get revenge on it. But he also wants to save the cyborg.
And get the cure to the plague.
Is it Philadelphia that they're trying to...
I don't know, but why you'd be going to Philadelphia, I don't know. But yeah.
But yeah, and it's an action adventure that was meant to capitalise on Jean-Claude Van Damme's kickboxing and karate. So there was loads of like spinning kicks and jumping spinning kicks and
more
sitting
kicks.
spinning kicks.
Yeah, and the infamous kind of let's do the splits between two buildings.
Yeah. So what did you think of it?
It was you could see the effort that was put forth into it, but it was one of these films that it's very much a film you have to watch on a Friday night with a few beers in you, with the intent of like having a bit of a chuckle, I suppose. It's entertainingly.
Yeah, I can't picture it popping up on movie or fucking the Criterion Collection or any of those.
Yeah, it's now, again, without like taking away from it or anything like that, it's just it is like there are some hilariously brilliant action scenes and very fucking brutal action scenes as well. Like, I mean, there's a lot of fucking machete and blood and arms getting ripped off.
Well, apparently it was a lot more violent, the original cut of it, but they were going to get like I don't know if it still exists, but in the 80s there was definitely over in America where it was like
there was
you get an X rating or unrated, and if you got that was basically the kiss of fucking death, because a lot of cinemas go,
no, I'm not showing that. I'm not going to make any
no
money.
one come to it.
Yeah, they're relying on the teenage.
Or you could have people
money.
fucking protesting outside with down with this filth.
Yeah, so you wanted to at least get it, sort of where teenagers could go and see it. So you wanted to get some sort of a rating on it where you could actually make your money back and have audiences coming to it. So they kind of reshot it to take some of the gore out, I suppose, didn't they?
Yeah.
Some of the over the top gore, but it was still pretty fucking. Some of the deaths were a bit brutal in it.
Yeah, but a lot of it was like blood was taken out of it, like so people getting their throats slit. There's one scene in the sewer, which is actually one of the best shots I think out of the whole thing. It's one of these weird things. Why we cover films like this a lot of times is because I think the artistry involved in Doom is often overlooked because the plot or the acting is so bad.
Yeah.
Now people focus on that. But like, I mean, in fairness to your man, we'll just call him Albert, the director. There's some really, really good shots in it. Like the guy is quite odd. There's some nice cinematography. Like that scene in the sewers, it's very kind of high contrast. And it's like this guy is he's running along through the sewer and he doesn't realise that Van Damme is doing the splits over his head. Yeah. And it's just a whole light knot, and Van Damme is there with a knife waiting to fall down on him. And now apparently
split his head in.
You don't
split his face
get to
open.
see any gore in it, but that was because that was cut from it. Apparently that was one of the things that they complained about, that they said you're going to get an X rating if you leave this scene in, because when he came down he sliced his head in half.
Literally split his face open.
Yeah, and it's like his head, it was like fucking Evil Dead kind of style gore. But yeah, scenes like that, and there's a couple of scenes on the beach, some of the weird kind of slow motion things, which you kind of go, why is that in a lot of times? But it's oddly artistic.
Yeah, there's a few weird scenes as well, I suppose, which you admire him for going for it, but you're kind of like, are they going for it for a bit of titillation or what? Like literally titillation. Whereas like, sort of the female character, I suppose, that is, she's like, oh, this will probably be the last night we spend together, and she just
I forgot about the
she just
I was like, what?
Slowly unveils her her boob, just because they're sitting on the beach, like basically just kind of like around the fire having their last little sort of supper before they go their separate ways or whatever. And there's this whole thing like where she's like tantalizingly revealing her boob, and he kind of slowly reaches over and just like covers it up. He's like, put that away there, love. Do you want to have a look at it?
He keeps having flashbacks as well, which I was wondering why they were so similar to Bloodsport. Remember in Bloodsport he'd have flashbacks of his master. And when he was young, and like young Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to rob the sword, and and like he was like, oh, you're going to be a trading partner for my son. And there's bits like that, and where he's just staring like off into nothing, and then he kind of goes back to when he originally meets this woman and her kids. Yeah. And there's just really weird bits like weirdly dubbed where he's sitting there with the kids asleep on his lap, and she's like, "You're very good with them," and he just looks and he goes, "I like them." And it's like that's weird.
Yeah, well, it's just the way they choose to build his backstory is a bit like very clunky, I suppose, as well. It's just like trying to establish like, oh look, he's such a pure hero, like he's like he took on this woman and her children, and he's very tender hearted, and he's like he loves children and he hates to see anyone getting injured and all this kind of stuff. And ever the hero, he puts other people's safety before his own, but it's just kind of done really clunkily and really sort of.
But knowing that it was re-edited by him. That's what I was going to say. That you kind of go, he must have had something to do with like some of the editing or some of the shots in Bloodsport, or he learned from being on the set of it, because it's very, very similar. Yeah. With that, but that's what I was just going to say. That there are, say, if you take the acting out of it, there's actually some scenes in it that are done really, really well. The intro is fucking hilarious, where it's the whole thing where it's like, oh, the debt, the pain, they want to get rid of it. Maybe I like this world. It's meant to be your man Fender with the different voice. And who does the voice? I can't think of his name, but he was like the Native American guy that was in Renegade with Reno Reigns.
Oh, right.
With Lorenzo Lamas.
All right.
That guy.
I didn't know that.
Did it, yeah. Well, now you do.
I do, yeah. But it is that whole entry kind of dialogue just it really takes you out of it entirely, because like, as many people might be familiar with the work of Father Ted and the character of Mrs. Doyle, the famous line of like, maybe I like this, maybe I enjoy the misery. It's just very hilariously, sort of, that's all I could hear when it was like, reminds maybe me, I like the suffering.
Yeah, of an 80s or a 90s anime. Where it was at the start of a lot of it started off like some of the Helsing ones started off like that, the old Helsing, where it's like, it might be a vampire speaking, and I was like, oh, this is the world we're living in. It's I think saying that though, with the voiceover and so, your man that plays Fender, Vincent Klin, is actually one of the high points. Yeah. Of the whole thing.
He's memorable. That's the thing. He's very, very memorable. He's a very imposing figure. Yeah. He's a great villain. He is somebody that you see him come on screen and you're like, oh, bad guy's back. Oh God.
And that one of the good shots as well is the start of it. It's a bit weird when the film starts off straight away with the cyborg and her companion being chased by this gang. They're called pirates in it, and it's like fucking Fender is the leader of them, but it does a weird thing where it shows one of them running after him and they're like throwing knives or whatever, and then there's another one walking slowly behind, and then the shot will focus in on the cyborg and your man running or stumbling over shit, and then it'll cut back to a different one that's walking at the same pace, and
you're just like, how do they catch up to it?
It's really corny, but it works really well, and it's actually kind of cool where you kind of get to know, there's a gang of all these misfits and they're all slightly different. We were just after looking at the Bone Temple, and it's nearly like the Jimmies.
Yes, it is a bit like that. It's like they're all blindly following their leader, and they're all just a ragtag bunch.
And it's the thing with it as well that I only know, some of them have puffy shirts. Fender has a puffy shirt, a pirate puffy shirt. So this is the whole,
get it off Seinfeld.
They were like trying to dress him up like pirates, but as well he's got like these big fucking puffy shoulder pads over chainmail and dirty sunglasses. And at one point he wears a big long fur jacket as well.
He must be sweltering in that fucking heat as well.
But he's kind of like Skeletor. He comes out with a lot of mad fucking shit, and they just kill everyone that they meet.
Like a proper pirate gang should do in the apocalyptic future.
There's that weird scene where they're on the boat, and they seem to be on the boat for ages, and they only ever show two of them standing on the top of the boat, and then there's a shot where it goes into the stern. Is that what you call the inside of the boat?
No, the stern, and no, I won't get into the technicalities.
Well, we say just the inside of the boat or whatever it is.
Underdeck.
No, under deck. And it's like they're all sitting there
Below
topless
decks.
and sweaty, just sharpening knives and
That,
laughing.
do you know, actually, that was the thing. Yeah, sorry, that was something that got me. I was like,
Just
has it
like,
been
what?
fucking sponsored by like knife sharpening tools and fucking knife paste, butter, or whatever the hell it is? Because Jean-Claude Van Damme, there's a scene of him doing that when like all the kids were asleep and stuff, and he's just slowly getting his whetstone and he's sharpening his blade, and it's like he's having his little
See,
thoughts.
there's the thing, I don't...
And then it goes to them, and it's like one by one they're all slowly sharpening their blades, and it's like, I was expecting, it's like a fucking ad for like Bridgestone tires.
What
or
I thought
something
was
like
very
that.
dangerous was that they quite obviously had a big fire going in this wooden ship. But it's the whole... I think what they were trying to convey, and they did it terribly, that they obviously, if they had to explain it a little bit, there was one bit when Van Damme was like, he bumps into someone and they say, oh, I thought you hung up your knives. So I would imagine in this world, like, no one really has guns apart from Van Damme for some reason.
I presume knives are the primary weapon.
Yeah, and it was their main means of survival, because if you look, they all have different knives. Fender has a big, huge, fucking kind of weird, serrated, like something that a child would draw for Conan the Barbarian or
so
something.
obviously it's all stylistic choices with them, I suppose. This is my weapon.
Yeah,
You know?
so I think, you know, another film they'd probably get into it. They'd be like, oh, the knife, you know, that they were like all trained in knife fighting, and it's like, you know, the only way that they have to survive because they're now living in a world where it's, you know, it's brutal and all that. Like, I'd like to say that, oh no, they just wanted to imply it because they relied on the audience's intelligence, but I don't think that was the case.
Yeah,
I think they
scenes
were
are
just like,
probably
oh yeah, it's, they'd be like gunslingers. They'd be like old Western people, but
they're
with
like
knives.
knife slingers.
What was that thing with Christian Bale and with the gung fu? Remember that years ago?
Kung Fu?
Yeah, it was going to be this whole thing where it was like, it came out after The Matrix, and it was quite obviously taking the, like, not, it was ripping a lot off from The Matrix, but it was like the martial arts in it. They renamed it Gung Fu, that it was like set in this future where people would fight with their guns, but use the guns like an actual close counter weapon.
I'm drawing a blank here now, I don't know.
It was shit.
Fair
Anyway,
enough.
but I remember you being really excited about it before it came out for some reason.
Was I?
And then, yeah, you
Then,
were. Then it came out and we were like, oh, this is shit.
Yeah, probably it was probably a mixture of Christian Bale plus The Matrix, and I was like, oh, put those two things together.
Yeah,
it'd be
but that's
great.
it. It sounded like it was going to be great. You know, like the
was it?
trailers for it looked
Fucking
amazing
Gattaca?
as well.
No, what?
No, it
What?
wasn't Gattaca.
What?
Gattaca.
That's why when you're saying, I know, I could list films like forever and I'd never hit the right one. Anyway, go ahead.
But, like, yeah, so your man that played Fender, brilliant. He's is the standout thing. Anytime it goes to the bad guys with him.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, even with the voice, it's more kind of comedy. Even like some of the things that he does are awful. Like the whole thing when it has the flashback with Van Damme. He gets like the youngest daughter to hold on to like barbed wire that he has wrapped around the family when they're hanging into a well. So he's like, if you can hold on to them, they'll be safe.
And the daughter is obviously getting her hands ripped to shreds and bawling and
Yeah.
crying and stuff like that, yeah. But, plot twist, turns out that the daughter is now part of his gang because he kept a hold of her from when
Oh,
she was
Laura,
younger.
you have to. You didn't say spoilers. People
Jesus,
have
I
ruined
know.
the film
I'm
for
so
people.
terrible, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that whole thing there as well, where the daughter obviously has been so desensitized to violence, and she was obviously traumatized and just grew up, you know, being after taken under his wing, that she's part of the gang now.
And it seems, because she seems quite old in it, so there must have been like at least 10 years that like Van Damme was
Minimum,
walking
yeah,
around
that he's
for it.
just been walking around sulking.
Well, I
about
suppose
the
when they
whole
do the
thing.
flashbacks to Fender as well, he's got like short curly hair,
And now it's long.
and now it's long with
Yeah.
dreadlocks.
Do you know, actually, when it goes to the baddies, what it always reminds me of is Bebop and Rocksteady. It's that kind of thing. It's
It's very 80s
yeah.
cartoon villain.
Yes, it is, yeah. And
isn't
kind
it?
of bumbling villain kind of a thing as well,
Yeah.
yeah. Where they're just a bit, they're all big and brawny, but a bit lacking in the brains department.
There's a scene in it where they're chasing after Van Damme. Where it's like when they run through the sewers and then they run through fucking swamps after this prolonged fight with all of them. Which is actually good. That scene is actually quite good, where he finds them at first and like it's like an abandoned factory or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's like a couple of different fights in it. And then they're like, oh fuck, we can't win this. So he runs away. with your woman, but they're running for a long time, and you can tell they're really fucking running, and they're told like to sprint. And some of the guys, they're big guys, and there's one of them in particular. You can see him; he's fucking bollocksed.
Yeah.
When you catch it, he's like properly out of breath, and he's like because like, as I can attest to, when you're a big muscly man.
Yes, when you're a very muscly yes, a sculpted Adonis.
Yeah,
yes.
it's like it's hard doing cardio for a prolonged period, because like all the oxygen is going into maintain your kind of like heroic muscles. Yes. But yeah,
that was one of your complaints actually. They had this whole scene through the sewer. They finally popped up at the other end, and they're like, "Quick, let's run away." And we'll just let them all. And you're like, just stand at the top of the sewer and just like fucking kill them as they come up one by one.
Yeah,
it's like
stab them in the top of the heads, like. Yeah.
It's like, it's easy. Like they can only emerge one at a time, and you're like, nope, of course they won't do something smart like that.
Yeah. He's like, but run. There's this whole confusing thing with Van Damme in a lot of his earlier movies where he acted like he couldn't speak English.
Yeah, and he always had this weird accent going on. It's
like he was Belgian.
Obviously, I know,
like,
yes, but he had a very
Flemish,
over the top accent though going on.
Yeah, where it was like it worked really well in Universal Soldier because he was meant to be like, was it like French, kind of like his parents were French, but they were living in.
I'm not being racist, by the way. I'm
you
just
are
doing a flight
poor
of the
French.
Concords. Flight of the Concords. So that's what I'm trying to do.
I've never heard of this Flight of the Concords.
Yes.
But like one of the things that we didn't talk about that we need to talk about is the Cyborg.
Yes.
Because the Cyborg is hardly in the fucking film, even though the film is called
His
Cyborg.
name's Cyborg, yeah, and she apparently is the whole reason of the whole film why he's actually after the guy.
Yeah, I'd say she's probably in it for maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes would be a lot. Like the start, they haven't run through it, and then when they figure out Fender and the gang catch her, they rip off her wig, and all of a sudden she turns into a big rubbery head cyborg.
Yeah.
And it's like, even by late 80s standards, even by fucking Canon standards, it's awful.
Even by Ray
effects.
Harryhausen standards, I'd say he would have done a better job back in the day.
Of course, Ray Harryhausen was amazing.
Yes, but I mean, he would have done a better effect, like
in the 50s
exactly,
or the 60s, yeah,
of doing it like an 80s cyborg.
But it is awful. Thankfully, they only show it at the start once, but I remember when I was younger seeing it, and being, because I was really excited about this. It's popped up, the trailer for this used to fucking pop up the whole time. And as well, Van Damme was hot fucking shit after like Bloodsports. But I know this was his second film, but I have a funny film. Yeah, other films came out before this. What are you laughing at? He was
hot stuff.
That's hot stuff came to my. And I was like, don't say that. Yeah. But he. I can't remember. You put me off. You've made me embarrassed.
Trailers coming up the whole time with the special effects.
Yeah, but I seem to remember like I'm being like, oh my god, this is going to be like really cool, and then seeing the start of it, being like, what? What the fuck?
It does go very very, very dramatically terrible, because it's like it goes back to your one's face, and she starts blinking and all the rest, and it's just like it looks worse than like a Barbie doll. Not even a Barbie doll, just a regular doll's head with the blinky eyes and all the rest. Is like, oh my god, it's just it's terrible, awful.
Is what I'm saying now. Another thing that's kind of terrible. Well, there's a lot that's terrible about it. Like, we won't try and fucking
yes, let's have all the terribleness of it.
But it's the soundtrack is kind of crap. I think they originally, like, it was going to be like a rock soundtrack, and they thought that it didn't suit the
can we
quicker
swing back
pace.
to this whole fucking rock opera stuff? What were they actually going to be like singing about cyborgs as they
I've
fucking
no idea.
blasted through it, or what?
I don't know. Probably.
So like burst into song as they go along, like
maybe.
As they
well, there wasn't going to be any speaking. I'd say it was just going to be music and black and white.
Like,
now, there's very little speaking. Fender probably speaks the most. Van Damme hardly says anything in it other than "I like them." So you could see that's probably a hangover from it, where it was probably the original thing. There's probably no dialogue, and that was maybe a way that, like, he was being rushed to do a script, and he was probably like, "What can I do where I have no one fucking talking?" And he was like, "Rock opera." with Chuck Norris.
Wow.
Yeah. But like the music, it's not good. Like, it's I don't know. I didn't like I like synth music. Who doesn't? And it's, I don't know. It suits it a little bit, but there is that feeling of it's the same over and over and over again.
Synth music, like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, like one of the things you can't fault it on is the creativity to it.
Well,
Like, well, yeah, all right, yeah, you can.
you can fault it on that.
It's not like an overly it is just a fairly simple movie. Some of the fight scenes are done well, but apparently there was one fight scene near the end where Van Damme accidentally clipped a stuntman in the eye with a plastic knife and permanently blinded him.
Shit, are you serious?
Yeah, he sued, and he successfully sued Van Damme for like $500,000,
Wow.
which, well, it's a lot nowadays, but it would have been even more at that stage because, like, obviously Van Damme was found at fault.
Yeah.
So I would imagine there was a lot of bad shit fucking probably happened on these things, because I say that because they're Russian things and some of the fights didn't seem to be too well choreographed.
Maybe the stunt supervision wasn't exactly up to
like I think Van Damme's skills were pretty much underutilized. Like, you look at other things with him fighting and you kind of, they're exciting, and like, I mean, Van Damme could and probably still can, like, he fucking do some mad shit, like, and there's not much of it in it. It's like, I would imagine he was probably like, can I do a jump and spin kick, or I can do this,
and they're like, nah, it's grand.
yeah, where it's just, I don't know, and it's a lot of it's knife fight, and it's because they're not even knife fights. It's the fights are over quickly, where people like get their throats slashed, or you know, it's
like
just,
he brought a knife to a gunfight.
yeah, it's not satisfying, and for a film that should be all about
Violence.
yeah, it's just not really there. But the costumes, and it's well known that the costumes were like just banged together from like two films that could have been potentially made. You kind of go, that's why they're so fucking weird.
Well, that's the thing. Was it the Cyborg was dressed like Michael Jackson from fucking Bad?
She in like a red
Yeah,
jumpsuit.
she had like a red jumpsuit, and yeah, the hairstyle even was a bit reminiscent of that. And like, I was kind of like, why are they going for? It's like the Bad outfit. I don't get it, but anyway, yeah.
That's because they were meant to be. They never really show it, but only like the doorway of it at the start, where it's like they're leaving what's, say, a civilized part of the world.
Yes.
And that's why it's a scientist saying like, oh, you go off and get like the cure, then come back and we'll make it here. And they turn her into a cyborg, and then at the end she shows up there with Van Damme, and they're like, why don't you stay with us? And he's like, I'm needed out there.
And he's like, fucks back off into the wilderness. Yeah, it's a bit kind of like the cross between Mad Max and what's fucking Total Recall, you know, where it's like outside the dome kind of a thing, and so out in the wilderness kind of a thing, wherever it's all like fucking
Totally in Mars.
Yes, but obviously they can breathe. It's like an
so
Earth.
it's nothing like Mars.
The same concept where it's like, you know, it's like inside is like civilized and like society runs okay, and then you go outside and it's like fucking all these like weirdo fucking dregs of society and humanity.
But like, I mean, saying all those things, the good things about what I think makes it compelling to watch nowadays is the cinematography. It is a fucking oddity. Your man Vincent Klin is amazing in it.
A1 villain, yeah.
It's, you don't see villains like this anymore, because people would be like, no one will look at our fucking movie if we have something like this. And it's just, it's bizarre to the point of where you can tell it was probably fucked together with very little thought. There is no backstory to him, which some people like, where they're like,
well, there isn't. He has these flashbacks to like, oh look, I fell in love with this woman. And
you don't know
children.
why why Fender is doing what he's doing, like, or
fair
where
enough,
he came from. I thought when he's with his eyes and stuff, it was going to be he's a cyborg.
Yeah. Or he's like the cause of the fucking plague or something like that. Yeah, he's got something to do with it.
The only motivation with him is he's like, they want to control the plague.
Yeah.
Yeah, with it. So I think some of the cinematography is good. The editing, knowing that like Van Damme ended up doing it in a month, like trying to reshoot it, I think it's fairly impressive for someone who's not like a trained editor, because like apparently like at the test screen, and out of like 100 people, only one person said that the original film was good. So
wow.
That's
what was wrong with that one person?
Yeah, like, I mean, how bad fucking was it? So like, I mean, to save it from being that bad
into getting to a film that we were watching how many years later after it was released? 40 odd?
Yeah, nearly 40 years, I suppose.
I just sounded like an interested cow there.
Or Yoda. And like, I mean, the scenery is good as well. There's a lot of interesting places where they go to like jungles, beaches.
Yeah.
There's like the fucking
That
Van Damme gets crucified on a boat near the end of it. And unlike Jesus, he kicks the crucifix to shit and gets off it. Like,
yeah, come on, Jesus! Like, Jesus, up your game, like.
But like even the factory places, they're kind of it does give a good feeling of like, oh, this is a fucking
post-apocalyptic, and this is like proper rubbly type.
Yeah, the costumes are weird. Like, the costumes are fucking weird. And as well, apparently, they had, like, a small crew on it, so they kept using the crew as different actors on it.
Oh,
that's why a lot of people are wearing masks, because it was like, oh, that person
he played this part and this part and the other part,
they were saying the sound design is not great. Iconic moments in it. Like, you're not going to forget when you see the cyborg for the first time.
That's true, I suppose. Yeah, but iconic or fucking... Yeah, I could probably think of another word for that. I do think, I suppose, the fight scenes on that sort of derelict factory type thing, you know, with all the... It's just basically bare concrete structure, like, you know, and they're up on, like, I don't know, the third floor or something like that.
They use the scenery good, like, where he does, like, the pirate fucking thing where he kind of, like, sails down on a wire at one point. There's some interesting things in it. But it's really weird because when you break the film down and you're talking about it as like all the parts that make up the film, they're all kind of bad. But there is something about the film. It's the feeling that it gives you. That
kind of hangs together okay.
It's fun. Yeah. There's just something really, really fun about it that you don't get in a lot of films that are made nowadays. You can tell it's made on a fucking a budget that there's, I don't know, you can tell it's just kind of shit. But there's something, it's good shit. If you know what I mean, where there is something where you can look at it and kind of like, I'd definitely watch it again. It's not like something that you kind of go, I never want to see this.
That's like the second time we've
again.
Watched it in the space of like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Like the action is quite good in it. Van Damme, you can tell he's a star in the making on it. There was a couple of scenes where he's like, when he's normal, he kind of go, oh, he's kind of like, he comes across as not being a meathead, where he's like a sensitive guy or whatever.
A brooding intellect that just so happens to be handy with his fists.
Yeah, but then when he's angry and he's walking, you kind of go, oh, this guy will fucking kill whoever gets in his way.
Rip you apart.
Yeah, and there's one funny bit where it's like he's spent however long waiting to fight your man Fender, and your man Fender's, oh, okay, come on, I'll fight you.
And you do the voice very well.
Yeah, your man Fender just beats the living shit out of him, and then they're like, crucify him, and it's like Van Damme just doesn't stand a chance. And that's one of the things that they did very well with Van Damme. They always got someone much bigger than him, because he's a fucking big dude, like himself, but they always made him look small, so he always played the underdog, whereas like in real life he's
quite a big dude himself, and
it's always, they had that kind of wrestling thing where it's like, let the bad guy beat the shit out of him the first time, and the second time, and then at the end, you'd be like, come on, because they do that the whole way with Universal Soldier. Dolph Lundgren's character is fucking terrorizing his character fucking the whole way through it, and then it's just at the end, he kind of like, I'm sick of your shit, and he kicks him into a fucking woodcutter.
Nice.
And Van Damme,
you've just spoiled that film,
and then Dolph Lundgren somehow manages to come back in the sequels. We're just like,
reconstruct it out of all the wood chipper particles.
But nice. I think it's like, at the time there was a certain audience that would, because like, as well, if you're like one of these people that used to love these films on video, this is like right up your street. You know, you were going to rent it, you weren't going to own it.
Yeah.
You'd rent it, you'd have a laugh looking at it, and you'd be like, yeah, that was fun, that was Van Damme.
That'll do me for another 3 years, and I'll rent it out again at some other stage.
You'd wait until it was like in the rent 5 for a week for fucking 10 quid, and you'd rent it kind of with some other fucking shit that you had vague memories of. But I think it made its budget back by quite a lot.
Did it?
As well,
How
yeah.
much did it cost? Like 10
I
quid or
don't know. I
something?
think it was made for like $500,000 or something like that, and I think it might have made 10 million on the opening
fair enough.
thing with it. So
Yeah. Nothing to sniff at.
yeah, it was one of the successes for Canon. You know, and at a time when they were losing money, but it's oh god, wish I could remember. It's like the Electric Boogaloo kind of the story of Canon, which we must look at it ourselves this week again because it's fucking hilarious. Like all the mad shit that they did, and you can see what's over.
Hijinks that they got up
Some
to.
of the times they didn't even have a script on the fucking thing. They were like, "Oh, just have Chuck Norris shoot a bunch of
Just
terrorists."
make it up as you go along.
Yeah,
We'll find a way to
that's
string it
fine.
together.
Yeah, but yeah. So I think, would you look at it again?
I guess so. We probably will. I'm not saying there's no point in saying we might do.
Yeah.
I know we will because you'll put it on again
Yeah.
at some stage in about a year or two and go, oh Jesus, we'll watch this again. This is great, wasn't
But
it?
it's not so bad. It's good. It's not one of those films like Goblin or anything like. But it's just it shouldn't be good because all the parts that make it up are bad, but it is good. It's enjoyable, you know. And that, like at the end of the day, isn't that what's really important?
I suppose, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a way to put down some time, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's never going to win an Oscar.
Yes.
And the thing, there's 2 sequels to it.
What?
Yeah,
I was not aware
we
of
never
this.
looked at the second one. I don't think I've
Good
ever
Lord.
actually seen the second one. But Angelina Jolie is in
What?
it. I think that was her
Jesus.
first movie. Elias Koteas is in it.